So it's really funny because like I actually have to like go to the bathroom, but I don't want to like miss my train of thought. So I'm gonna record this in hopefully under 5 minutes or less, starting now. Hi, I'm Lauren Electra. That's my stage name. I know, I'm so clever. But I'm watching this video that was called Celebrities Love Britney Spears 2021 edition. My laptop just turned off, but it's the one with Dua Lipa as like the picture. Like when you scroll, she's like the one you see in the video, the title of the video. She's like the picture. Anyways, so I just finished watching Sharon Stone talking about how Britney Spears reached out to her and like Britney Spears wrote Sharon Stone a letter asking for help while Britney was under her conservatorship, and that Sharon Stone was saying that she felt so bad because she didn't feel like she was able to help her, and I just thought that was such BS, because, you know, Sharon Stone was saying, oh, you know, I was going through something too, and I was dealing with some really hard times myself, and like, it was bad for me, and I needed help, and me being a performer, me being somebody who spent a whole lot of time dedicated to trying to develop myself as a formidable, respectable entertainer, a triple threat, if you were, or if you would, and as someone who has also experimented with illegal substances myself, and seeing all the ugliness that could bring, and also the fun it makes you feel, the reward systems, having experienced the chemical reaction that doing drugs turns on in the brain, like the dopamine and the reward reactions and whatever else, like etc. Like I've gone through all of it, and I lived in Hollywood. I lived in West Hollywood. I met an old creepy guy who took me to a studio in North Hollywood to record music, and I've been in a whole bunch of like really nice apartments that I could never afford to live in the West Hollywood area and downtown LA as well, and have been smoked out and partied with these, I guess, industry professionals, although, you know, like, they're industry professionals, but they're not the kind of professionals that you see in front of the camera. Like, they are the people, I guess, that are the handlers, you could say, or the managers, or, you know, the people that greenlight projects, and blacklist people, and cancel people, and put out propaganda. You know, they're all part of the media. It's their story that they want to tell, and they're the ones that are deciding what movies and TV shows you see on Netflix when you're doom scrolling. And they're the reasons why you feel like there's nothing good on TV and there's nothing good to watch on Netflix, and that's why you keep going back to the same movies and TV shows, you know, your nostalgia bait from like the 90s and the 80s and everything, because everything now is garbage. And I guess we're finally old enough to have an understanding of how Hollywood really works, and just kind of like every other industry, you know. It's all about bureaucracy, it's all about ass kissing, it's all about sucking dick, it's all about laying on your back and not having a backbone, just kind of laying there and taking it. And what Sharon Stone, her little anecdote about Britney, is a clear example, like a dictionary textbook example of somebody just kind of being spineless, I guess, and laying there and taking it, and not like actually standing up and telling the truth, which is that she could have done something. Everybody who knew about Britney, I mean, even Paris Hilton, she was in it, this little like compilation as well. And she was asked by the interviewer like what she thought about like Britney Spears and everything, and that Paris Hilton literally said verbatim, "I knew she was being controlled," and that Dua Lipa was hooked up to a lie detector, and the interviewer asked her, do you think Britney Spears' Instagram posts really have a hidden message? Like, do you think she's actually like crying out for help or whatever? And Dua Lipa took so fucking long answering, and she like had to word her answer very methodically, pun, meth, very methodically, because she didn't want to be caught telling a lie on the lie detector on fucking the Vanity Fair YouTube channel. So she like took her time and was just like, well, if she is, that would make me feel very sad, and I hope that she's okay. Which, according to the lie detector, and in all honesty, it's very true, I guess, no, she doesn't want poor Britney Spears, the princess of pop, to be going through anything bad, despite knowing that of course she is. But I guess now we can say that lie detectors don't monitor I guess facts or logic. All they monitor is your heartbeat, and so your emotions, I guess. And if you are in control of your emotions, as all these performers are, because they're so used to having to like split themselves like schizophrenics, which is I'm getting to my main point. My first point of this tangent is that she was so able to, first of all, not give a yes or no answer, and I thought that's what lie detectors are supposed to do, first of all. And second of all, she was so ready and trained and groomed to give, the Miss America answer that would make her look not guilty, when she knows full well, when we all know, I didn't know, but we all know that Britney Spears was being abused and contractually worked like a slave and living like a literal slave in modern times, like white slavery, in the middle of all this Black Lives Matter. Britney Spears was like the poster child for whites, like, disproving the whole thing, being fucking bad-mouthed by the media, being set up to fail by P. Diddy, for example, a black man who has a history of abusing Caucasian people to begin with, especially minors. And then, okay, I'm just going to go on this one little tangent, and I'm going to get back to my point about Sharon Stone and how she's an example of the idea that everyone that we see in Hollywood on TV is no different than homeless crackheads who also operate under the mentality that they are victims, and they are powerless and they are helpless, and all because they are addicted to their drugs, and they can't actually like stand up and do the right thing or help other people, because that would basically like cut off their connections, that would cut off their lifestyle, that would cut off their rock and roll, which is so stupid because all they really care about is like getting high. Like that's all it would do. So I'm gonna circle back to that. But Normani came on and she was just like, oh my god, like from Fifth Harmony, she's like, oh my god, like Britney Spears, I used to like watch her like I'm a Slave for You music video and like do the choreography in the like that in my like grandma's living room because we were like poor and I lived with my grandma and I'm black and my bald head. And I was just like looking at that and I was just like, wow. And I'm sure she's probably one of those Black Lives Matter people that say, oh, you know, it's so hard to like get this like famous and like successful without being like a little white boy. And that's true. I mean, when they say it, it's true, because people like P. Diddy are only interested in sexually abusing little white boys. So, you know, she's probably like, oh my, like so proud of herself. Like, I'm so proud of myself. I'm Normani. I'm so proud of myself that as a dark-skinned female impersonator and a black eunuch, I was able to make it this far, to be interviewed for some stupid YouTube channel, to be part of some stupid, forgettable girl group, basically emulating Britney Spears and like the formulaic pop music machine, just so that I could have like Sharon Stone and everybody else, my free drugs and my 5-star hotel accommodations and my long-standing reservation to Nobu, and the chance to wear stupid, overpriced, like garbage clothing that has like, you know, name brands on them, made by sweatshop workers in Asian countries, but passed off as, you know, French or Italian couture. Need a drink. So taking all that into consideration, I made it about like 10 minutes into the video and I had to pause it and I had to like record this because I don't understand how this is accepted by the general public. As somebody who has been studying theater for a really long time, and studying music for a really long time, and studying dance for a really long time, someone who is literally engineered basically in a lab to be like a Justin Bieber type, who was groomed to be, or attempted to be, I mean, they tried to groom me, but I'm just too much of an Aries, you know? I'm just like too stubborn, and I'm too like in love with myself and like my vision and who I want to be. And with my past experiences, it's just like, I don't know if it's muscle memory or like if us little test tube babies actually have a soul or spirit, or just like maybe a conscience from like being hammered into like having the golden rule of being treated how you want to be treated and like treating others with respect. Having that just like hammered into my brain ever since I came into this stupid world. And then like having all of that contradicted by the very industry and the very government and authority figures and law enforcement, and others, friends, etc., 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 friends, acquaintances, coworkers, etc., that are all supposed to, like, I guess, also, like, live under that same rule. You know, like, the contradiction of those people, that list of people, authority figures, friends, blank, acquaintances, government officials, law enforcement, whatever, all telling me that I have to treat people with respect, and that also, like, you know, respect myself and blah blah blah, and then for all of that to just be completely contradicted, like, by those people, when I start to actually, like, demand being treated with respect, and when I actually start doing all those things, like acting with integrity and, like, using my brain and, like, being a critical thinker, and calling people out on their bullshit, and observing and announcing, and basically, like, blowing the whistle on all the corruption and double standards and criminal activity in this culture of, like, the entire world, you know, this money is the root of all evil type shit, and then just, like, seeing how, like, it is actually true, how, like, some stereotypes exist for a reason, how some cliches exist for a reason, and then me being somebody who, again, was groomed to be, like, a Justin Bieber type performer, who was groomed to have sexual assault normalized in my life, along with homophobic ideologies and bigoted Christian and Muslim and basically, like, hate-based religions, judgmental religions, which, again, contradict their own teachings about, like, loving people and not judging people, because only God is the one who can judge people, and only Allah is the person who can judge people, and, you know, it's bad to be self-righteous and, like, overly pious, or just pious in general, I don't know, and then turning around and being like, because, like, because they actually are bad people, who just want to sexually assault others and cause harm to others and be violently aggressive, physically violently aggressive with others, intentionally towards others, cause harm onto other living, sentient, self-aware, feeling, thinking beings and entities. It's just, like, it's crazy. And theater doesn't have to be this way. Like, rock and roll doesn't have to be this way, you know? There doesn't have to be violence or sexual abuse in theater, like, excluding the drugs, you know, people, like, whatever, get high, who cares, but, like, the controlling, the brainwashing, the intimidation, the bullying, the harassment, the intimidation, the controlling of assets and financial property, like, none of that has to be a part of the music or entertainment industry, just like it doesn't have to be a part of any other industry. Again, going back to the whole money is the root of all evil, but it's just like, you know, these people who don't have talent or who haven't dedicated themselves to trying to be talented, who haven't, you know, put in the time and effort to try and be a performer, a, a performing professional. But I mean, could, you know, it's not hard. All you have to do, I mean, if it's not hard to, in the case of Sharon Stone, it's not hard to flash your genital area on camera for shock value. That doesn't take any talent at all. And like Sharon Stone, it's not hard to stand up and do the right thing. I mean, I guess in their case, and everybody else who knew about Britney Spears, for example, it is hard because, you know, right now, certain hard narcotic drugs are illegal. They are unlegal in the country, mostly because of their negative effects on humans. They're generally unhealthy effects that they have on the brain and the body and the psyche, how it like can turn people, normal people, into like homicidal maniacs, and turn normal people into schizophrenics, turn normal people into bipolar like psychopaths who are up and down and are super high and happy one second and then crash the next, and are like manic depressive who are, you know, could snap and attack you with a knife or shoot you with a gun or eat your face off in a, according to like bath salts or whatever, or, you know, tear their own freaking faces off like fentanyl or whatever the crank thing is, the drug that literally eats your skin away. So as someone who has basically a college degree in musical theater and ballet, to me it is just like so insulting to what I wanted to achieve for myself. And not even the message that I'm trying to, I mean, the message I'm trying to put out is like, I don't fucking care. You know, you want to get high and have a train ran on you so that, you know, by the end of the night, your booty hole looks like a blown out, like, handball. Like, go nuts, you know. If you want your lady bits to look like a expired pack of like pastrami blowing in the wind on like a flagpole, like, you go nuts, you do your thing. But like, when it affects other people, when it enables evil deeds to be done, then that's a problem. Like, when it puts corrupt people in positions of power, then that's a problem, and that can't be tolerated or allowed to continue, you know? And it's so funny because I remember when I experimented with heroin, I came home one day and somebody literally I was like in my front yard, I was doing chores, I was raking leaves, or maybe I was mowing the lawn, I don't remember. But I just remember some stupid, like, potato ugly woman drove by in her stupid Yukon and was just like, heroin addict. And I just was like, who are you, girl? Like, nobody drives a car like that, first of all, and it looks as morbidly obese as you do, with your skin texture, and your box-dyed hair, and your shaped eyebrows, your tattooed on eyebrows, and your tattooed on lip liner. You're gonna tell me that you've never experimented with drugs? Like, get over yourself. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, there's a difference between having fun and, you know, people getting hurt. And that's another freaking saying that has survived the test of time. It's all fun and games until someone gets hurt. And it's always when the people who are doing the most damage to others, that they either get caught or they get hurt themselves, that suddenly it becomes an issue. That all of a sudden everybody, like the whole world has to stop, just for them, just so that they could like recombobulate themselves and get themselves back together, to then go out and continue the cycle of abuse, of taking advantage of people, and exploiting other people who are more talented or more dedicated or more passionate about one thing or the next, just so that they can control them and use them right on their coattails, so that they could like position themselves into powerful places in society. And it's so stupid, and it's such bullshit. And just like thinking about like community theater, you know, those like little idiot losers, like your little nephews and nieces, and you're like the gay guy who works at Bath and Body Works, the 40-year-old gay guy who you know, is playing like Beetlejuice in your local community theater whenever the rights get released, or like, I guess, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, because that freaking show gets put on all the freaking time. You know, the nobody, the local town nobody who has a okay voice. You know, I don't think he's getting drugged and sexually abused in secret in his modest like studio 1-bedroom apartment in town, you know, that he's barely able to afford with his assistant manager or manager job at the local Bath and Body Works in the mall. Like, I don't think that's happening. And if that isn't part of theater, and if that isn't rock and roll, then I don't understand why these people in Hollywood have to be like, you know, so famous and such victims, and pretending to be so helpless, and basically just homeless crackheads being put up and sponsored with, like, you know, Hollywood elite and CIA government sponsorships. And it's like so stupid, because it's like, you know, they talk about, you know, these social issues and that they're just puppets for propaganda and whatever. And it's just like, what message are they even like trying to brainwash people with? Like, that sexual assault is okay and should be normalized. That is all I can imagine. And that it's okay to be enslaved as like a minimum wage paycheck earner. And that's why like everything on TV right now is like middle-aged 30-year-old adults barely struggling to get by, like 5 30-year-olds living in a 2-bedroom house, like talking about how hard it is to survive, and like relatable content or whatever. Like, if that's the brainwashing like technique or the goal that they're trying to get, normalized slavery and sexual abuse, well, then it didn't work on me. And I think the problem is probably that you were so focused on trying to cover your own asses as handlers, as secret government spies and whatever. You were so concerned that people like me would catch on and like revolt against you and resist you and like rebel, by trying to like get us at a young age and brainwash us into being like perfect little angels, to like treat everybody with kindness and to respect other people's feelings, and like putting like things on Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network and like cartoons and whatever else, about like standing up to bullies and like being bullied is a bad thing and bullies are bad. Well, you guys, it didn't take a lot of work to realize who the real bullies are, and those are the people that are putting out the media telling you, pointing fingers at people, trying to say that's a bully, that's a bully, that's a bully, when those people, another phrase that survived the test of time, when you point a finger at somebody, you have 3 fingers pointing back at you. So to Sharon Stone and everybody else that I'm gonna have to see their ugly, gross faces, literally vomit-inducing, on this stupid video that showed up in my feed, which I don't even know why it showed up in my feed. Like, all I've been watching for the last couple of days is Kingdom Hearts cutscenes. So if that's not an indicator that someone out in the world is trying to program me to be their little, cum dump puppet, first of all, again, you're like wasting your time and energy. If you just would say like, hey, do you want to get like fucked in the ass? I would say, yeah, sure, as long as I get to pick who's doing the fucking, as long as it's on my time, and as long as I'm able to tap out when I want, and I get to be conscience. I get to be awake while it's happening, not like roofied and drugged and forced to be blacked out. Yeah, that sounds great. I would love to. I'm an open, sexual person. But if it's you wanting to, make me black out and do whatever you want and try to make me look like a fool and like an idiot and some pathetic, weepy, oh, poor me, I'm helpless, I'm Sharon Stone, I'm Justin Bieber, and I'm going through something really tragic and hard and nobody understands, just spiraling out like all the crackheads do on Skid Row and Hollywood Boulevard and wherever else, USA, then no. And I'm sorry that you are wasting your time on me with these stupid Illuminati videos that are trying to brainwash me, because honestly, I just don't care. So yeah, the point of this rant was that there doesn't need to be abuse in any industry, because if you were to treat people with respect, like how you so clearly want to be treated, despite being, cowards and undeserving of being treated how you want, like being treated with kindness and respect and sensitivity and love, based on how you treat others and how you have a clear lack of respect and lack of care, for everybody else who isn't in your stupid little 1% global elite Illuminati like bullshit club cabal or whatever. I'm so over this. It doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. I mean, sure, maybe you won't have the opportunity to like put your little, tic tac wiener inside of me because I'm not attracted to you, but like there's somebody out there for everybody. And if you just like do things the right way, it might take a little bit longer, but you also won't be at risk of getting in trouble. You won't be painted as the bad guy. You won't be exposed for being an abusive garbage like POS, and ... anything else. Oh, and just relax. Like, why does it have to be this hard? Why does there have to be this much evil in the world for something that is like where is the opposite side? Like, if that's just a part of human nature and like yin and yang and everything, where is the good side? It seems like with Black Lives Matter and everything, it's just like the black side, for example, of like the yin yang symbol. It's like, well, where's the white side? Where are the people out there who are like me, that know how to have fun, that like to have fun, that want nothing more than to have a good time and entertain people and put out, edgy content, for the sake of pushing the boundaries, but like still respecting people's like bodies and like feelings and like freedom and not taking advantage of people. Like, why is that so hard? Why is that such a difficult concept for these people in power to grasp? I don't understand. And the worst part is, I know that, like, let's say I was elected president or something, or like leader of the entire fucking world, that it would happen and they would, like, all the evil people in the world, like the Epsteins and the Bill Gateses and the Clintons and who at all the Saudi Arabian princes, that they would all just be like, okay, well, we made you king of the world, so now you have to, like, pardon us and accept, and P. Diddy, you have to, accept our apology and forgive us. And it's just like, do I really have to? Do we really have to? Do we have to just accept this as it is? Everybody else in the whole freaking world, and everyone in Hollywood, like, can you just grow a pair and, like, I don't know, vote to legalize, like, farming of, like, organically grown mind-altering substances? Like, they have cocaine is a natural drug. You can lick the back of a fucking poison frog and trip out. You could find LSD somewhere in the world. You can smoke salvia. You can do magic mushrooms. You can smoke weed. You can make your own fucking alcohol from potatoes and cactus and barley and rice, like vodka, tequila, whiskey, and sake, and grapes, fucking wine. And you can even, like, do heroin and, like, smoke opium from poppy seeds, or like inject it into your arm. Like, there are so many things in the world. You can even, like, you can shit in a fucking, like, lunch bag if you want, a brown paper bag. You can take a dump in a fucking brown paper bag and huff that to your heart's content until you feel something, and until the pleasure chemicals in your brain, the reward chemicals in your brain are released, which is really just your body, like, it feels good, but that only happens because you're actually poisoning yourself. It's the same sensation as when you're on your deathbed, and how people who are dying, you know, they say before they walk into the light, they have a sense of euphoria. That's not going to heaven, you fucking idiot. You backwater, toothless, incest-born, Bible-thumping loser. That's your brain, how your brain was designed so that you wouldn't be afraid of dying. That's all that is. That's all. That's literally all that is. It has nothing to do with God or Allah or whoever the fuck else you like worship like a zombie. It is how you're biologically designed to basically die, and nothing happens, and you just turn to dust and go back into the ground and grow as grass, except not in our world, because you are buried in a coffin, which is made up of unrecyclable material. So you're like dust in a plastic little cocoon, further polluting the planet, instead of just, you know, dust to dust, ashes to ashes, Mother Nature, and like turning into the soil and fertilizing the grass, and the grass is eaten by the horses and the cows, and then we eat the horses and the cows, or, you know, not. Or we ride the horses and the cows, and we don't eat them because, you know, they have feelings too. But whatever you do, the point that I'm trying to make is Britney Spears didn't have to go through what she had to go through. I don't have to go through anything that I'm currently going through right now. And nobody has to go through anything that they're going through now. So if you're struggling with something, and all you're doing is complaining about it, and you're not like organizing or proactively looking for a way to fix your life, or to like end your struggle in a happy, harmonious way that doesn't hurt you or anybody else, I don't know what to tell you. Except for everything that I just spent 42 minutes talking about right now. And I'm done talking. I need to go to the bathroom. This took a lot longer than I wanted. But the point is, life doesn't have to be hard. And, you know, you don't have to be gross people in power. We can all just be friends and get high and watch people sing and dance, and you know, just celebrate life. It doesn't have to be a problem. So stop making life a problem for everybody else, and stop making life a problem for me, because I'm getting really freaking sick of it. Okay? Thanks. Bye.